Hi, everybody, and welcome to The Tide Guy. It's a new sports talk channel for YouTube. I'll be doing some videos on conference realignments, and then when we get closer to the season, I'll do a little analysis on the breakdown of the different games and the different conferences. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about conference realignment. I know the SEC started this all about a year ago when we added Oklahoma and Texas. Now, since then, the SEC has kind of slowed down a little bit. I don't see us adding any more teams until the grant of rights can be broken in the ACC. I do believe that we will go after Florida State, Clemson, North Carolina, and probably Virginia. I think that would round out a nice 20-team conference. The Big Ten has responded. They got USC and UCLA, which pretty much makes them even now with the SEC. I do think they're going to slow down a little bit. I know eventually they probably will pick up Washington, Oregon, and I've heard Stanford and Cal. I don't see them adding them anytime soon. I think they're going to wait until the SEC kind of makes their move. Now, I know the Big 12, they've lost Texas and Oklahoma, so they've added 4 teams. They added Houston, Cincinnati, UCF, and also BYU, which I know they're trying to grab some Pac-12 teams, and I know a lot of people are down on the Pac-12 right now, which I do believe is a mistake. The Pac-12 still has some strong teams. Oregon has played for a national championship in the last 10 years. Washington's won a national championship in the last, 30 years? So those are 2 prominent teams, and also Stanford is a really good brand. Now, I know a lot of people are saying that the Pac-12, well, the money's not nearly as good as the Big 12, but the problem is the Big 12, people who are throwing that money around are using both Tier 1 and Tier 3. Now, that's not really fair because the Pac-12, that money is only Tier 1. So when you add the Tier 3 to it, I think the Pac-12 is going to be within probably $5 million of the Big 12. So at $5 million, I don't see Arizona State, Colorado, Utah, any of them bailing as long as Oregon and Washington stay with the Pac-12. And I truly believe that Oregon and Washington will eventually sign a deal with the Pac-12. I do believe it'll be a small deal, short deal. I think it'll be probably 5 years, maybe 6 at the longest. And then I think you will see a big expansion, probably 2028, 2029 is my guess. If ESPN is able to renegotiate the contract there in the ACC, break that grant of rights up just a little bit, shorten it to where it would end in 2029, I think you will see movement in 2027, announcements that schools will start to leave. Now, Notre Dame, everybody's big on Notre Dame. I do believe Notre Dame will eventually join a conference. It's not going to be the money that forces Notre Dame to join a conference. Notre Dame, they make $22 million this past season in revenue. I know the SEC, the Big Ten, they make a lot more, but Notre Dame is one of those schools that the money is not as important as the prestige. What's going to make the Notre Dame join a conference is going to be the playoffs. Now, when they negotiate a playoffs, if it's more advantageous for conference champion gets a bye, that's going to force Notre Dame to think about joining a conference. But if you keep the playoffs at 4 teams, or even if you move it to 8 teams and say that conference champions get an automatic bid, I think that forces Notre Dame to really consider. And if you keep it at 4 teams and Notre Dame gets cheated one year where they think, they went, let's say, 11-1 and they deserve to go and they didn't make it, or they feel that they should have made it, I think then you'll start seeing Notre Dame make a move to decide that, it is time to join a conference. But I do believe that it's not the money that's going to force Notre Dame to join. It's going to be the playoffs. The playoffs is the key. I'm going to keep this one short. I'd like everybody to like and subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I'll start doing videos daily. I'll also answer anybody's questions in the comments. And you guys have a great day. Roll Tide.